This is life. Listening and inspiring friends and entertainment.
I'm over here thinking he's talking about ego. You
I'm talking about
your
my
cranium.
physical cabeza.
Focusing life's principles with your goals.
'Cause I do stuff too that go against my own morals that I would even tell a young man not to.
And taking empowerment global with empowerment speaker Stone Staffer and Johnny Vaughn.
What up, friends, family, and fans? Welcome to our first
Yeah, the very
Life
first.
on Podcast Live. Let me throw up some hand claps. Let me see some hand claps on the screen. Woo, 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 woo. So we're going to take care of a couple of pieces of business first before we go into anything. So if you are watching this on my account, that's Stone007 on Instagram, first of all, thank you. Second, I would like for you to just go back to your homepage and switch over to Life on Podcast. Hopefully they'll be right next to each other, and watch it on that account. The reason why is that's the account that we have up on this other screen, and that's where we're going to be looking at your comments and interacting with you and stuff like that. So if you comment on my account, I'm not going to be able to see it because the screen is like way over there.
He'll write you a postcard later on, though.
Yeah, so
Individual.
So be on Life on Podcast. Second, if you don't mind, we implore you to please share. Please share this link, man. Share this live so other people can join in. The more in here, the merrier. Again, it ain't for fame or numbers, none of that kind of stuff. But this is the one that we want to be really interactive. We do all the talking for like the past 15 episodes.
Yeah, man. My throat hurt, bro.
Yeah, so it's time to hear from y'all. You know what I'm saying?
And just so y'all know, too, once we finish this podcast, it will still get posted to all of the normal locations. It'll probably be up tomorrow. So you can keep your eyes open for that once we wrap up tonight.
Absolutely. So I appreciate y'all doing that and cooperating. So what we are going to talk about today, actually, before we get into that, how was your week?
Well, it was good, man. Crazy busy. Like, this is, after getting back from D.C., this is my first, like, real full week back at work here. Mm-hmm. So getting caught up at stuff at the radio station and then back, to work around town and getting clients and stuff squared away. So really, really busy, but everything went smooth. So it was good.
Technical question. Can y'all hear us okay?
Yeah, everybody can hear good.
I forgot that the mic on that one.
I see Q nodding his head, yes. My wife just said, yeah, and I'm just playing.
Awesome.
I don't know.
No, I was going to say. So give me some thumbs up if you can see good. Again, anything y'all post, anything y'all comment, it has to be on the Life on Podcast account. That's the only way we can see it. Tisha, what's up? See, that's that love right there, man.
Yeah.
All right, so that was your week.
Yeah.
Cool.
What about you, man?
My week was good. Obviously the news of the week, just, heartbreaking, heart crushing. I'm not gonna get too much in it because sometimes it just gets, stale.
Dude, everybody's still processing it, man.
I haven't even processed it still.
I came right to work and went straight on air after getting the news about the crash. So I had like 45 minutes to process it. Had to scrap everything I planned for the show and get into 5 hours of that. So it's been heavy.
I didn't even tear up when MJ died. Like, I mean, trust me when I say I was crushed.
Yeah.
Crushed. But this was the first time I ever kind of felt like tearing. I didn't tear up, but I felt like tearing up.
It was. I think it was a different level. Like MJ was on an untouchable, almost godlike level.
Almost like, he's there.
Not saying that Kobe wasn't and isn't, but Kobe was still more tangible and more touchable than MJ was. So it was a little bit different for I think everybody. And it's going to be a while, man, for everybody to be able to process it.
It really is. And just all 9 families. I mean, you have a family that lost a mother, father, and a sister.
Yeah.
It's just tragic all the way around. So obviously Kobe was the biggest name, but there are 9 lives on board that thing. And, there are reports coming out as to why it happened. I'm hearing that weather, or rather wind, played a factor.
Yeah.
So it's just tragic. So I just had to, we had to spend a couple of minutes there.
A lot of that kind of plays into this too, because obviously it started on social media.
And there's our segue right there, that forced segue. You just shoved it right down my throat. Pause. So what?
Oh, 12 inches.
What? Oh, dude, no.
What happened? What?
Bruh.
Huh? Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Come on, man. No. So what we're going to talk about and what we're going to ask you guys is, what role does social media play in your life? That's what we want to know. All right. So as you know, social media is obviously the way to communicate, but it has its pros and it has its cons. So we will touch on some of those points. But again, this is to be highly interactive. So you're going to constantly see us leaning up, to the screen because
I'm sorry, Ange just hit me with a wow. Ange, it's live. I don't get to edit this stuff out this time.
No, actually, you know what? I am glad that y'all not only get to hear, but you get to see this stuff live, because you will see that I am not always the impetus.
No, most
because,
of the time,
like, especially like the Angie and Tisha who know me.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one that be coming with that crap.
Well, see, the thing, and y'all will get the secret to this right now, is I'm the one that edits them. So
exactly, and it makes me look horrible.
I get to take all my bad stuff.
It makes me look like the delinquent
out.
perv. So, what role does social media play in your life?
Yeah.
I mean, all kinds of roles. I have some pros, and I'm gonna just kind of run down these lists of pros. But we want you guys to chime in, think about that question. And I understand typing is hard, so we don't expect a whole conversation. But at least let us know what role social media plays in your life. Right off the bat, because we're both entrepreneurs, actually, and Johnny, he's still on radio. Digital marketing.
Absolutely.
That's a huge role I know that it plays in my life, and I'm figuring it out every day, because Life on Podcast, you guys get to see us figure that out just every day.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all gonna grow with us on that.
We're figuring out how to make this thing grow. And I will tell you this, shout out. See, I'm ahead of myself. I'm gonna give some shout outs at the end. But those of you who have shared this podcast with friends, and you've both told me and you've shown us, man, this
who's that just called me 50 Cent? Stop it. cut it out, man.
So we want to give a big thank you, because that's going to be the number one way this podcast grows.
Absolutely.
Is by you sharing it with your friends. And there's something that I heard in church the other day. It says people, whatever convicts or changes people, they champion. And, me and Johnny, one thing we are definitely trying to do is help change some things about you for the better.
Absolutely.
And we know we're successful in doing that when you then feel the need to just go around and tell your friends, like, yo, you've got to listen to this podcast, yo. Like, seriously, they got some real good stuff on there. So thank you. Big thank you for that. And I just want to encourage you guys to constantly share and tell people about it. So digital marketing, absolutely. If you use social media for digital marketing, let's just get a quick thumbs up on the comments here. And we have a couple people. Kat Dollar, she already said family info, marketing. Okay. Yep. Gwent, your sister.
No, she was just someone who called me 50 Cent. That's
right.
Time waster. We're going to get into Kat Dollar. We're going to get into that, because that's one of my biggest cons.
Absolutely.
Just to touch on it right now, a lot of y'all who have started following the podcast's social media pages and have started following me and Stone, y'all might notice that I don't post anymore.
Right.
Like I left social media in a sense a few years ago. And you always see people who, I'm taking the social media fast, or y'all getting on my nerves, I'm out for 3 months. Like I didn't see a need to do that. I just stopped. And the main reason for that is because a few years back, when I was still working for CBS Radio, they required everyone from their highest paid contracted employee down to our interns. We were required to make 5 social media posts a day and to interact on the station's websites. And in the beginning, it was cool. And then it became an addiction for me, because then you start to build this fan base because you're interacting directly with people.
Right.
And I got addicted to that, like, honestly. So I was just on social media, starting social media arguments.
Addicted just interacting with people?
Just the interaction in
general. But that's fun. And that's, so I see right now I'm not going to go down in order, which is fine. So I sometimes I got to get that out of my head. And just to really just bouncing off on what you were just saying, one of the things I do love about it is that it's a platform that allows you to connect, especially with people who you otherwise would never connect with.
True. Yeah.
Like, that's the beautiful thing about it. Now, both in the good and positive sense. Now, people like Tisha, she said
good and positive. That's the same thing.
Oh, good and positive. I mean, good and bad. Okay. Like Tisha, she just said that it improves her stalking tactics.
But so, again, somebody else who's living the you lifestyle.
Warning. Tisha, RJ, whatever. Make sure y'all put her on block. But no, but it does. It allowed that. There was just a news. There's a coach, Marsberger, at University of Michigan at Great Valley State.
Okay.
In the student newspaper, they asked, name 3 people you would like to have dinner with. Now, again, I'm proving my point that I otherwise would never know about this. He said JFK, right? He said Columbus, because he just wanted to know about how, you're about to sail to uncharted territory. Don't know if you're going to come back.
Yeah, uncharted to the English, but okay.
Right.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do you like that. I'm not going to do you. I'm not going to do you like that today. But
can you just be on our level for a minute?
All right.
Just stay here with the common folk.
Y'all understand what I'm saying, though, right?
So anyway, unknown to him.
Right.
How about that? And so he just wanted to know just the kind of spirit it took to do that.
Right.
And then he said Adolf Hitler. Now, knowing you, I know you don't have a problem with that.
No.
having dinner with Adolf Hitler.
Absolutely not.
I mean, one, he got suspended.
Yep.
I disagree with that. I don't think. And he told the newspaper, he said it was a tragedy. It was sad. It was horrible.
But to understand the mind behind it.
To make it plain, yeah, I'm not sitting with the guy as a freaking fan. But he said, but you have to be a pretty great leader to get so many people to follow you to commit such a gross atrocity.
The thing people tend to neglect about greatness is it's a pendulum. You can do great positive things, and you can also do some great atrocities in mass like that are great undertakings.
And it's great, period.
To be able to get the minds of hundreds of thousands to eradicate millions. How do you control?
How do you do
How
that?
do you control that?
There is a leadership. Yeah. It's like a lot of the drug deals and kingpins. And as a friend of mine years ago, I told him, I said, bro, honestly, you're one of the smartest. I use the N, but you one of the smartest brothers I know. I said, if you just took this and did a business, you'd be out of here. Yeah. So again, I think he was a great entrepreneur. He had a great business mind, but he was just on the other side of the coin of greatness.
Absolutely.
And they suspended the man for it. And he explained himself.
For the comment.
For the comment. Yeah. They was like, well, it's just highly inappropriate and blah, blah, blah. And so, honestly, I want to know what you guys think about that. Do you think he should have been suspended? And while you're typing that, because we're going to look at it, I just wanted to say that, I would never have known about that if it wasn't for social media. And so I commented on it, and there was a guy that, he called him a a-hole, and he buzzed him out. And I said, hey, quite frankly, he made it clear that he wasn't a fan. He said, but it does take a leader. I mean, and I'm not getting into political bashing, but one of the questions I ask myself all the time is how people follow the man we have in the White House now. And there's one thing where you're just like, he's a jerk, he's a blah, 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 but I agree with this policy. I get those people. But there are people that are literally out there. They are a fan of his as a person. That's the part that I don't get and I don't understand.
This is the issue, and this is one of the main reasons why I walked away from social media, and people tend to ignore this about it as well. It's one of my biggest cons, is that social media is the number one place that the herd mentality can be directed by a very few amount of people. The reason why he got suspended is because I promise you, a small group of people got offended. And now, because we're and I will use this phrase, the snowflake era, where everyone is offended by something or somebody, you have to tap dance, you have to be politically correct about everything. People won't look through a situation and understand the underlying meaning behind what someone says.
Right, they just get offended.
They look at the offensive part, and then now you can push that to social media, and then you have droves of people who are going to follow you for dumb reasons, because you have a million followers, so now they're going to follow whatever you say. And you control the minds of people like that. And I feel like social media at its core, not from what it was originally intended for, but at its core now, is used literally to control the minds and the opinions of people who haven't developed the ability to come up and support their own opinions about things.
Right. Yeah.
What you see?
I agree. So we got Vade. Vade says it's a great platform to show visual creativity, whether it's music or acting or art or anything like that.
Sure.
Absolutely. So one thing that social media does is that it gives us a reach that we otherwise would never have. And whenever I talk to artists, songwriters, producers, or creatives in general, and they're especially the ones that are still they still feel that the major label deal is just the holy grail. There are still people who believe that. And I just don't understand that.
Well, no, you definitely got to understand it, because, again,
I mean, obviously I understand.
We're close to it. They see it through a TV and they hear it through a radio.
Right.
So when you see it from the perspective of this can put me on this platform, that's all they're looking at is the fame.
No, you're right. And that's why, honestly, we should end up having millions and millions of subscribers. And I'm calling that in. And why I should always be in business with speaking, because people just will not take it upon themselves to educate themselves at the end of the day. So, the record label, they're no longer the holy grail of things anymore. And I tell independent artists all the time, I said, you are in a position now where you can put a song out and send it to Japan, Croatia, UK, South Africa, wherever you want from your phone. And that's social media that allows you to do that. So it's so powerful. And yes, Vade, so I agree. It does allow you to let the world see your creativity and your art and share and even collaborate. Collaborate with those. My cousin, I swore I was never going to do that.
You brought somebody up you weren't supposed to?
No, I wasn't going to
say the name.
Say the relationship.
Oh.
But so Lil Nas X, congratulations to him. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, dude. That's
Congratulations to him.
Look at Stone dropping names.
No. So congratulations to him on his Grammys.
Right.
But look at how that happened.
Yeah.
Through social media platforms. He collaborated with a guy over in Europe, on a track, and the thing turned out to be the largest song in history.
If y'all haven't caught this yet, you're gonna probably catch it now that I'm obviously on the opposition to social media. I think it's the devil, personally.
Why?
Let me say this.
Okay.
I think it's great that it offers those opportunities. It does allow you to make connections around the world. I've done business with people on the other side of the world through social media that I've met that way. I've mixed songs for clients that are in London, that are in Japan. I've gotten to do that. That's great. I don't need that stuff for my art and my craft, though.
Okay.
So with me, I always try to get to the root of why are you doing it? If you're doing it to become famous, if you're doing it for the accolades, if you're doing it to become world renowned, if you're doing it to make the connections around the world, great. I don't necessarily write music or write my short stories or write my book to do that. I'm not trying to become famous. I'm not trying to have that name. I'm cool with creating it and it existing.
Yeah,
in itself.
It's not trying to be a livelihood for you.
Exactly.
So that's Johnny.
And that's Johnny.
Yeah, that's Johnny.
So that's what I'm saying. Like for me on that side of it, it becomes a negative because people tend to gravitate to using it for the wrong reason.
Sure, absolutely.
You see it as I can get to 1 million people and make $1 million, as opposed to I can get to 1 million people and share my passion.
Right.
The reasoning behind it is why I have an issue with it.
I got you. And I never understood the people that get so depressed. And Rayona Styles, we're going to get to you. I never understood the reason why people get depressed and go into all these self-defeating, self-condemnation modes from social media.
Man.
Turn it off. I mean, I'm not taking depression lightly. I'm not taking low self. I'm not taking bullying. I'm not taking those issues lightly.
No.
But don't come to me because you're getting those things from social media. Turn it the frick off.
I've said many times that the person you need to be competing with is the version of you from yesterday. I say that all the time. If you want to be a better you, be better than you were yesterday. The first thing you do in the morning when you jump on social media is you trying to see how many likes your last post got.
Right.
And that is just that's your self-validation. If I've got 15 likes, oh, nobody likes me. If I went viral and I have 200 likes, oh, now I feel good about myself.
I believe there are two sides to that validation. It's either a personal validation or it's a marketing validation.
True.
Yeah.
How many people are doing it for that reason?
Yeah, right. No, of course.
I think the best thing Instagram did was when they started hiding the likes. So that it doesn't now, okay.
I started hiding likes in real life. Yeah. So when I walk by people, they'll be, hey, Stone. I'm like,
what's up? Don't smile at them.
Everybody's smiling at them. They be like, what's wrong with Stone?
They just got a bad attitude.
I'm hiding my likes. I've lost a lot of friends. But no, exactly. And that's it. So, I mean, it's not difficult. It's not difficult. It's not deep, people. Like, just turn the thing off. If you can't, and know what you can handle. And that's in anything in life. Know what you can handle. If you can't handle social media, if it causes you to question yourself, feel bad about yourself, and da-da-da, then just stay off it. And people are like, yeah, but, I take breaks and I come back. No, there's no coming back. If you have self-esteem issues, don't be on social media, or at least pick the ones you want to be on. Because, Facebook, friends, family, everyday life, Instagram, let's admit, you flossing. You know what I mean? It's a beauty contest. It's who's balling.
And Twitter's just become a spot.
Twitter, everyone's miserable on Twitter.
Yeah, you just destroy souls on Twitter.
Yeah, just get on Twitter then. You know what I'm saying? But so we promised, Rihanna said, it's great for networking and collaborating with other like-minded individuals. As a hairstylist, I've met and worked with so many dope artists. Yeah, and that's another thing, too. You can get to find like-minded people.
Yeah.
That's also...
But how do we do that before we had social media, though?
And then that goes to my con.
So
my cons.
This is my thing. The clients that I've gotten the opportunity to work with around the world, I've never met them face to face. Phone call through Skype or whatever. But as far as building a relationship, like I wouldn't invite them to my house for dinner. I wouldn't do that.
Sure.
But like prior to that, like think back to 15, 20 years ago before all this stuff blew up.
You used to be able to pick up the phone and walk all the way into the living room.
Yeah,
like 20
with the cord. Exactly, you had the cord. You had to do the little rotary thing.
Right, yeah. And everyone coming in, they had to play jump rope or whatever you call it, limbo,
double dutch and all of that. Right? Man, that was when you were building relationships because you had to be in the room. Mm-hmm. Now, like even with radio, people don't like some of my favorite radio personalities. Sometimes they're not even in the studio with the whole show.
Right.
Thanks to ISDN, you can have 4 people in 4 different parts of the country in different time zones, and it sounds like they're in the same room. Me and Stone have done a couple podcasts where we were not technically in the same room. I mean, these things make it to where the magic, the curtain, the veil creates a false sense of what reality is.
You let people see what you want them to see.
Exactly. And I mean, that's my biggest thing. Like, it looks like there's a big relationship there when it's really vapid. It's on the surface.
And all this stuff is generalization in a way.
True, yeah.
Because like with me, what you see on social media for the most part is what you get.
Okay.
Like once and twice a year, usually at the new year. I didn't do it this year because last year it kind of seemed to fall off where the replies were. But for like 4 or 5 years in a row, I would put a post out just asking people. I didn't want compliments. I didn't want pat on the backs or nothing. I said, what in dealing with me, what area of my life do you feel I have an opportunity for growth and improvement? Mm-hmm. Where did I get on your nerves? Where do you feel like? And people used to respond to that all the time. Last year, I had some responses, but it kind of fell off a little bit. So I didn't do it this year. But social media allowed me to do that.
Right.
With people who I didn't talk to all the time, with people who got a perception from me just because we never met.
That was my biggest issue too. Like back during that time when I had to post. So when we were doing these big interviews and we were going to these events with all these artists, I had a cousin who literally assumed that I was a millionaire at that time and had more money than him due to the pictures he saw on social media. And I think that's the most dangerous thing because to me, I was just posting. I mean, it was my life. It's what I was really doing.
Right.
But the perception that people got out of that was that I'm hanging out with these people on a daily basis, or I can call Tyler Perry right now and ask him to come. Like that stuff's not real. People start to connect these dots on their own.
Though there's a little bit of there's a little allowance for that because entertainment is driven on the whole smoke and mirrors, the fantasy life. It's driven on that.
We know that though,
right?
The layperson.
Most people know that. The sparkles.
I'm not gonna make the mistake you just made. I won't mention who this person was, but about 8 or 9 years ago, I went to a family who's on the other side of family members, and they had met me for the first time, and all they knew was I work in radio.
Right.
And I spent 2 hours listening to, have you met this person? How is this person? Who's this person? What they do? Like the smoke and mirror aspect of it didn't connect. It was. You are one of these people.
But it's the same reason why people like their stories, the soap opera stuff. It's a life that they just love to be close enough to. It's not even so much that they believe it, but they like to almost maybe live vicariously through you. It's exciting to them,
See, I like how you give the human being the benefit of the doubt. The person is stupid.
See, normally I would say that.
The human being is stupid. They don't, and I'm not calling you. I'm
glad y'all seeing it just in case something happens. You know whose voice is who.
Tommy Lee Jones said it in Men in Black. Like people are smart. The individual that person doesn't make those connections.
Who cussing Johnny out?
Everybody. I'm not even reading it right now. Look, Ann said it. Like media made us feel like we knew him personally. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Like you create this connection through the television or through the radio or through stories or through the newspaper. Right. And then things are not what they look like when you meet that person in real life.
Well, absolutely. And you're right.
I'm a homebody, dude. Like I ask my wife, when I'm off, if I'm no parties, no promotional event, like nothing, I'm on the couch under a blanket watching TV, and she hates it. Like she does. I'll get up, we'll go to the movies.
That's because too, though. We had our days where we had our fill of that too, though.
Oh, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? And we're older, or you're older. But the other thing, touching on what you were saying, one of the cons of social media is a loss of interpersonal skills.
Absolutely.
It's like now we don't even talk to people. We don't even look them in the eye anymore. And there will be people in the same room texting at the same table. You know what I'm saying? So, who said what?
No, so my wife just said there's a dent in our couch, and there probably is. I'm not going to...
That was from the farts, though.
Yeah, but, stop it.
That's what.
Real facts, though, me and her, like when I'm on the couch and she'll be in the room, we text. And
we do that at home
we do that in the house, and it has. I mean, and that's just technology in general,
right?
But the social aspect of what media, like it will stop you from doing something that would allow you to make a one-on-one connection with someone, and it'll create this false sense of a digital persona that has a connection with someone else's digital persona, and then the two of you really don't know each other in real life. And I think that's going to be detrimental to the evolution of humans in general.
Oh, sure. Oh, absolutely.
Because in the long run, if we don't, like, what happens if all this stuff goes away?
Yeah.
Like, how do you introduce yourself? Nobody knows how to do that anymore.
They don't. They don't.
Like, how do you pitch a business idea when all you're doing now is just sending a 6-line, one sheet to somebody of what your business is, and then they hit you back with I'm interested, let's talk, and then it's a phone call and that's it. As opposed to let's have coffee and let's talk the details
I
out.
saw this in a movie once 'cause I didn't think it was real, but then I was standing in line at AMC, and these two little girls were just yapping back and forth, and the girl, she literally said, she's like, oh my God, LOL.
She said what?
She said L-O-freaking-L. She said LOL. Like, she said it.
Like, didn't laugh.
No, like, instead of just laughing out loud, she said LOL. And I was like, seriously?
OMG.
And I saw something like that in a TV show, and I was like, oh my God, a girl did that at Publix. I mean, at AMC the other day. It was crazy. So Vade, he was saying one of his comments about it being a con said it can create depression by seeing things that you don't have, people you want to be.
Dude, yeah.
Seeing people that you feel don't deserve what they have.
Ooh.
And you should have. A sad truth.
Wait a minute. Let's unpack that joint right there.
Got a little Pandora. Before we do, I'm looking on my time. I still see some people on Stone 007. Stone Letter 07 account. First of all, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. What we're asking you to do, if you can hop on over to the Life on Podcast account, because that's where we get to see your comments and interact and answer. So hop on over from Stone 007 to Life on Podcast. But before you leave, share the link. Bring people in.
Yeah.
All right, so back to Vade's point about...
Vade said something real important. Something about seeing people with stuff that you feel they don't deserve.
They don't deserve.
There's two parts to that.
Man, go, because I got mine.
One, if you're doing something and you see someone that has something that you don't have, and you're sitting there upset about it, all that means is they have done something that you haven't got off your ass to do.
That's what I was going to say.
That's all that means.
Yep.
And people will do that. They'll sit there and be like, man, why he got that? What he doing with that? And feel like they're actually accomplishing something themselves by tearing somebody else down when that person is out there putting the work in. Yep. And that is a detriment to human evolution in itself, because you could be supporting, or you can hit them up and find out, yo, what did you do? Because you got something that I think you shouldn't have. Right. I feel like I should have it. That must mean I'm doing something wrong. But your freaking ego won't let you do that. Envy. Yeah.
Yeah, all it is envy. So that was a real good point, babe. We appreciate you bringing that up. Inaccurate information. I refuse to use the term that old dude has coined when he got into office. So I'm going to call it inaccurate information. Don't give it the time of day.
Anyway, I just like to make the mouth shake.
But inaccurate information. That's another con. Of
that happened this weekend with the Kobe story.
It did. Oh my god.
So obviously, like, everybody who works in media, our phones probably started blowing up before everybody started seeing it, because I saw the initial thing right around 1:00 ish. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to look, because you get stuff, and it was TMZ, and TMZ at this point, they've gotten a jump on everybody for the past 10 years. If they put something out, you can pretty much bet that it's a true story.
Yeah, I wish the family knew about it.
I got an issue with that too, but that's another conversation. One of the things that started happening immediately after, while I was trying to verify whether or not this story was right, is I started hearing about the Rick Fox stuff. Oh, and then shortly after that, I started hearing that multiple, like, he had all three of his daughters on the helicopter. So one person decided to just throw something out there that was inaccurate on top of a story that was accurate, and now you don't know what to believe, and then everybody starts to run with that.
It's a pro and con wrapped under the same gift, unfortunately. So we can get accurate information up to the minute.
Right.
And we can get inaccurate information up to the minute.
It's hard to curate that in real time. And then when you have people who refuse to take the time, do the research, verify sources, they run with something. Yeah. I see people posting on social media all the time. They'll post a story, oh, such and such died. I'm like, I saw somebody last week, oh, I can't believe Sherman Hemsley died. And they posted the story. And I'm like, how long has Sherman Hemsley been dead?
Didn't he die already?
It's been a minute, bro.
Right.
It's been, and I mean that happens all the time. People don't read. People don't research, and I think that's another problem. Is that the microwave essence of social media takes away having to go pick up the Encyclopedia Britannica or the actual freaking newspaper and figure out what's real information at this point.
No, absolutely, 100%. And then, so I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I want you to post up on here as I go into the next topic. But how often on a scale, let's say a scale of 1 to 5, all right, 1 being barely and 5 being very much so, how often or how much are you influenced by what you see and what you read on social media? So just go ahead and tap in number 1 through 5. You just want to kind of see where everyone is at and be honest. Be honest on here. There's no judgment, and just if you're a 5, then that doesn't mean anything because for all we know, you might be reading some valid things. So there's no judgment. But just between 1 and 5, how much are you influenced by what you see and what you read on social media? Another con I want to touch on is reduced productivity. Mm-hmm. With social media. I mean, it's this whole screen time thing that FaceTime came out with. I love it now. Like, I love it. And I love it on Sundays when it flashes my report and says, your screen time has gone down 17%. I'm like, yes, because granted, I felt like I was on there a lot. You know what I mean? And of course, everything is subjective. So if that's your job, obviously you're going to be on there all the time. But it is so easy for 15, 20 minutes. And I tell everyone some of my greatest ideas and information comes when I'm in the throne room ruling my kingdom. You know what I mean? So
that's the smoothest way you've hit us with TMI, bro.
I tell you, I get a lot done. Some of the things y'all be hitting me about, yo, Stone, that quote hit me right here, man.
Y'all don't even know, man.
Hey, that came while I was ruling my kingdom, man.
Stone be in between wipes when he be sending some of them tweets, man. I'm just telling you,
graphic,
bro.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. I apologize again.
Wet wipes are key, though. I will throw that in there. But anyway, gotta stay fresh. But yeah, so probably it'll go out there. I mean, 20, 30 minutes will just fly by. Mm-hmm. It'll fly by before you know it. And you'll sit there and say, well, I was only on social media 3 times all day. But say it was 3 times for 30 minutes.
Right.
So now you're on there for 90 minutes. What could you have gotten done in 90 minutes? And these are questions and things that I've actually presented to myself. And I've gone back and say, wow. So when the end of the day comes and I look at my to-do list and I have a good 5, 6 things on there that still aren't done, and like 3 of them, each one of them probably took about 10 minutes each. And then I look at when I was on a game or social media, I was like, wow, I could have knocked those 3 things out while I was on this game. Mm-hmm. So it definitely does. And what makes that so bad, what I want to drive home to people about, is not even so much about reduced productivity, but social media, if you're not careful, if you're not conscious about it, it can take the one commodity from you that you cannot get back. And that is time. Mm-hmm. You do not get to cash in or refund or redeem, your time. Now, God can do that, but that's a whole nother conversation. But you can't. So the past 10 seconds, I just got finished telling y'all about this. I'll never get those 10 seconds back. So you have to think about that, and those things add up. Just like music or the record business is a pennies game. Mm-hmm. Life is a seconds game. And next thing you know, you're 30, 40, 50 years old talking about some shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when you think of it that way, it's not just so much, I could have gotten stuff done, but that's time I'm never going to get back. Hopefully that'll help you kind of put things in better perspective. And then I'm not sitting there saying you got to put your phones down and nothing like that, but it just causes you to be a little bit more conscious of it. Let's see what other comments we got. All right, so Rayon, she says she's a 3 as far as how much social media affects or is how much it influences her. Vade, he's about a 2.5. We appreciate that. We appreciate the honesty. Our phones are jacking up right now. Oh my gosh, really?
Oh, wait a minute.
Who else we got? No one else really chimed in. Okay, that's cool.
Who's the 2.5?
Vade.
How did you come up with the half, Vade? What's the half?
There's always one. Y'all probably get along. One of the pros I can say about social media is that it is the long-leashed freedom of expression that it gives us. Now, again, like anything else, there's a good side or bad side to that coin. On the good side of it is you can pretty much say what you want to say to anyone. All right. And so, I mean, that can be good. Obviously, that can be bad, especially if you're putting someone down, ridiculing, judging, and all this kind of stuff. But another place where that can be bad is I used to call people, before social media became a thing, we used to call them telephone tough guys. Mm-hmm. You remember that term?
Yeah.
They'll pop all this junk to you over the phone. You know what I mean? But then when y'all meet up, it's like, oh, no, man, I ain't really mean it like that. You know what I'm saying? You misunderstood. I say, no, you call me a punk AB. You know what I'm saying? There's only really one way you can mean that. You know what I'm saying? But like now on social media, you can make a fake account.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all this kind of stuff, say what you want to say. And then
Twitter account still got the egg, no picture.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just disappear. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you're using that for malicious intent, just understand that you're a coward. Just know that about yourself. Go on and just take that in and own it. You're an absolute coward.
Shout out to my guy Nico Flo, just says social media is the devil. I
thought you were about to call him a coward. I was like, wow.
No, he's definitely not one of them. No, Nico's one of the realest dudes I think I've met.
Nico,
in the
OG.
I think I'll say that half of that is a good thing. Because there's some people, I actually have a friend who's super shy. Who doesn't like go out in public. One of those OCD people have to wash hands after everything.
Right.
And they were able to create a persona that makes them feel like an outgoing, bigger person.
Right.
And they're able to interact through that. So from a social aspect, that's been great for them. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the bad part comes that at some point, you have to go outside.
Sure.
So whether you've built that persona of being, the Twitter fingers on all of that nonsense on here, you got to see people.
Yeah.
And if you create that persona and it doesn't match, your house of cards falls down immediately.
Sure.
So not only does your credibility go away.
Oh my God.
I mean, you've gotten people who've ended up killed over social media.
Over dumb stuff.
Over stupid stuff. Because they were pretending to be something that they weren't. And that's one of my biggest things too. Going back to what my situation was, people started to believe this thing that I wasn't even trying to create, but social media was doing it for me.
Right.
And if you don't take control of what your persona is on social media, you begin to look a certain way. And it goes back to what we talked about before about knowing who you are.
Right.
You can know who you are 100%, but social media can be showing a completely different person. And if those two things don't line up, it creates a world of issues for you out in the real world.
Yeah, and you definitely have to keep it balanced. And so do you guys have any systems or practices or habits that you do that help you stay balanced where social media is concerned? You know, from not taking things too personally and judging your life by it, to even just being authentic on social media and not just showing your good side, but every once in a while maybe showing a weakness or a flaw. And I don't want to put it where it's like that becomes like some kind of a prerequisite. Like, okay, if you do this, now you also have to show a weakness. I'm not saying that. But again, just being authentic.
Yeah.
You know, so if you guys have any kind of systems or habits or practices.
Cat Dollar, I'm with you. Meditation. What do you know what type of meditation you do? Like what technique you're using? I would love to hear like what.
So
technique.
Meditation, how?
That's why I'm asking like what technique. I do a couple different techniques.
But what role does meditation play? In that?
It depends on which technique I'm using. Vipassana
is one of
I do.
Oh wait, that's the Mr. Good Buddy.
That's
Mr. Good Buddy ice cream truck.
That's a Buddhist chant. Stop it.
Oh, is it? I could have sworn that was the one they did.
No, cut it.
Ice cream man, ice cream. Sorry.
Oh, man.
My bad. I want some ice cream.
Qigong is the practice of the movement of different energies. So I do that. Vipassana is more so a centering. Vipassana.
Oh, I've heard of Vipassana.
Yeah. That when I went on that retreat last year, that 2-week thing.
That's right.
It's literally the practice of doing nothing. I mean, it's the most ultimate way to center yourself. You stop your mind, you stop your body, and all you do is observe what's happening right here, right now, in this moment. And everything starts to fall away if you get to the point where you can, I'm not going to say master it, but once you get good at it and you can hold that and you start to, you become alone with yourself and you start to discover things about yourself that you normally wouldn't. And for me,
levels of honesty with yourself.
Exactly.
That you've never,
and that's what I was getting with. When I left social media and then I went on that retreat, I started realizing things about myself that I never would have actually allowed myself to do because my mentality had to be a certain way to interact with people on social media.
Right.
Because people on social media tend to know my page is like I would post things that were almost intentionally divisive because I know what my opinions about things are.
Right.
And I also know that a lot of people regurgitate their opinions. So I Yeah, and just like that. And I would poke the bear just for my own personal entertainment because I knew they wouldn't be able to defend themselves
So
against
you're
me.
an instigator.
Oh, dude. Am I? God, am I? I got off on that. Like,
Oh my God.
Man, seriously.
There are people out there that do.
Yeah.
I'm trolls.
Dude, and I was the ultimate troll. But when I found out that what I was doing, it was beneficial to me because I was getting entertainment out of it. I was learning how other people thought. However, in a sense, I wasn't helping the people.
No, you weren't. You out there pissing people off, raising their cortisol and blood pressure, and just sitting there like, ah!
That was exactly what I was doing.
Oh my God.
But in that moment, what I was hoping would happen was that they would realize what I was doing and reevaluate how they were approaching the dialogue. And
You were hoping that they would realize
Yeah.
that. That's so not cool.
Well, but this is the thing. And this is a whole nother conversation that we'll have to have another day.
Okay.
But I feel like responsibility for oneself is the ultimate level of ownership.
That's my whole platform.
I know.
Accountability. Yeah.
But it goes all the way down to what you think.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna just use somebody else's opinion to debate me on something and you can't stand up with it,
yeah.
I'm gonna beat you until you
Senseless.
see that you can't win with that, and you have to go back and think. And sometimes people just give up. They'll get
They
mad.
do it. They'll get in the feelings. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
as opposed to them
more
saying, you know
often
what?
than not, that's what happens.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not my responsibility to tell you. I mean, you had a situation like that. I'm not going to just tell you. Eventually, you will come to the realization, and that's. I'm just
man. Well, years ago, I used to practice a meditation technique from the, I guess they call it ancient Orient. It was called the Cheech and Chong. And what we would do, what's so funny?
I've studied the herbal essence from Master Yoda myself.
Hey, don't sleep on the Cheech and Chong, man. That's got some real deep insight on that joint.
Yeah.
All right, so basically, Kat said yoga. Mm-hmm. So, I lost it there. It said yoga, and she said really focusing on, where'd it go, Kat? Hold on, Kat, we're going to find you.
Kat, copy and paste it and send it one more time. The last thing
I think she said something about really focusing on being.
Right on.
Is what she said.
Yeah.
So yoga
Right on.
and really focused on
Being quiet. Right on.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what other things we got. It says, what did you realize? I don't know what answer that was to. She was asking a question to.
I think that was probably to something that I was getting into, and hopefully I answered
So
it.
Nico Flo said, I got a new. Is that Nico who I met?
Yeah.
Oh, Nico, what up,
Yeah.
homie? What's up, man? So Nico said, I got a new rule. No social media on Saturdays. I'm learning how to shut it all
All the way down. But okay, so Nico,
legitimately draining.
Nico's in an. Nico, can I put I'm gonna put your business out there a little bit. I'm not gonna tell everybody what you do. Nico's in a position where he kind of can't do that. Like I've had a job that was very similar to what
apparently
he does. Right now.
does.
And it's almost impossible to do because in the position he's in, he's responsible for multiple people and keeping their opinion straight and fact checked. So if you ever turn it off, you run the risk of letting it slip through. So the fact that he's finding a way to balance that right now, I never figured that out. When
Just
I was
play
in that
catch up
situation.
on Sunday or Monday when he comes back.
But that's the thing, though. It's so much, so fast.
It is.
Do you ever
That it
really
is.
catch up
No,
when
you
have
don't.
to do it?
No, you don't.
And that was why I took myself away from it because you can't stay on top of it. So, Nico, big ups to you, bro, for figuring out that balance, man, because
And
couldn't do it.
Vade TMG, he says, I care about how I see myself. I have a fear of looking back at my posts and questioning my reasoning for posting things that aren't me. Wow, that's really introspective,
That's deep.
Dave. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't have that kind of wherewithal to look at themselves that way.
Yeah,
So
I made a what did I say about it? I had a situation once where I had to actually go back through my Twitter page and unlike a bunch of stuff.
Wait, Nico said, what's in that cup, though?
Nico, you know how I flow, bro.
It's tea,
No,
Nico.
it's tea, man. It's just tea
We
this
ain't gonna
time.
say what I was doing.
It's just tea. But yeah, I had to unlike a bunch of stuff because the situation I was in when they were requiring that interaction, people could go back and see it.
Right.
And this is another big con about it. Like, even though I went back and unliked all of the stuff that I had liked that was, questionable in the eyes of the company, that stuff still never goes away.
No.
Like,
yeah, it
you
doesn't.
can delete a post all you want to. That stuff is still on that
Remember
server
that guy I
somewhere.
told you tried to put me on blast? As a matter of fact, I even called his name out and everything on the podcast.
Yeah.
When I was saying something about old Trump. And I didn't call him names or nothing, but I was definitely expressing my displeasure. And he was like, I went through your social media. I see you speak to kids. Nice example. I was like, you son of a... And I told him, I said, you know what? You have a point.
Yeah.
And I said, I must admit, this might not be the greatest example, so I will give you that. Although everything I said was still true. But
the hard thing about that is that when you post on social media and it's there, I'm a big advocate that you're born and you die every second. The person that I was when we started this podcast 45 minutes ago is a completely different Johnny than I am right now. And I'm going to be a different Johnny when I finish, because your intellect, your mind, your thought process grows in those moments. Two things with social media. Because of the fact that it's out there, you're not allowed to grow because people can always reference you in the past. Think what happened to Kevin Hart.
Dude, don't even get me started.
If you have not watched Kevin Hart's Don't F This Up on Netflix, I keep telling y'all go watch.
Can we stop promoting other folks until we start getting paid?
Okay. As long as you look,
I know. I'm not bringing up
as long as
Blinkist
you
no
don't
more.
say yours, we good. Because I mean, Blinkist done made some bread off us, bro.
I have literally, I know, I'm not lying. A couple people actually hit me and said, "Yo, I checked out that Blinkist app. It's dope. I downloaded. I literally made Blinkist money." God dug it. You know, I'm a counted as a seed.
I see you. I appreciate
counted
that.
as a seed. What?
Hey, man, no, she just said she agreed with that constantly evolving thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you gotta. I got one because you do it like every other week. I can drop one. But back to what happened to him. Kevin made some comments in a routine back in 2008, 2009, and we all know that he didn't host the Academy Awards because. Apologize, Kevin. Apologize, Kevin.
And then they didn't like his
and they
apology.
didn't like his apology.
That's honestly, I don't do it, but that's when you get the middle finger from me, and I keep it moving.
But that's the thing.
Which is pretty much what he did.
Pretty much. But the thing about it is that I understand Kevin's stance on it, but at the same time, you're still responsible for that person you were in that moment. Now, other people are also responsible for, and this is my thing, people don't accept the fact that you're responsible for growing as well. So if you can't grow past where someone else was 10, 15 years ago, that's not that person's problem since they've evolved beyond that. However, the herd mentality, that small group of people that's offended by whatever it is, can sway the masses. And that's the most dangerous aspect of it, is because people don't understand that even though social media is permanent, even though what you post is permanent, that person sheds that skin. They aren't the same human being.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with social media that you always just have to keep in the forefront of your mind is remain true to yourself and who you are. Now, here's the problem. And this is what we already touched on this? The Who Are You, right?
Yeah.
All right. So go back to episode 16, 15.
Dude,
we just did it. We just did it.
It was 14, 15. 15 was with Yaz, so it's probably 15.
No,
14.
it was the last. Yaz was 2 episodes ago.
What was it?
So either way, it's in the title.
Nico, you know what's in this cup, man. I can't remember.
Who Are You? You know what? We didn't post it yet.
Oh.
That was supposed to be.
See, you know what? Stone messing up.
Yeah, but somewhere in there we touched on who you are. And
that's right.
And here's the thing about that. You know, I'm sitting there saying, you know, in order for social media to be a healthy thing in your life, you just have to be true to who you are. But understand the prerequisite is knowing who you are in the first place.
Right.
That honestly is a big problem. Excuse me. That's where we get a lot of the depression. A lot of the people come down themselves, the judging and feeling judged and all that stuff, because you don't know who you are.
Yeah. And
if you don't know who you are, and I always say, you know, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything. Or if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. And you're just a leaf on the wind. And unfortunately, wind is whatever society and pop culture says it is. So you're just a slave to that. And so you have to figure out who you are. Now, somehow it comes up in every podcast, which is fine. But with me, myself, I read Ephesians and it describes to me who I am, you know, because I find my identity in Christ. So I know who I am. So you can say what you want to say to me. It doesn't mean it's not going to bother me. It doesn't mean it won't piss me off. It does none of those things. But it won't define me. And I've learned, like,
facts, Cat.
When I was younger, I never got bothered by your mom. Like, so many kids would get in fights. As soon as you saw my son, your mom, you talk about my mom, you know, disrespecting my mom.
Yeah.
I never did. I remember got Clifford Little. We was about to get into his fight, whatever. And he's like, man, your mom's an essence, just cussing out my mom. And I just looked at him like this. And at first I was like, man, you gonna talk about your mom like that? I was like, he don't know my mom.
Yeah.
I was like, he don't know my mom. So, and what he's saying about my mom doesn't even have an ounce of truth. So
Right.
exactly, and I didn't say all this part, but that's how I was
still,
thinking.
that's how
I was
you
like,
felt.
so
Yeah.
what exactly am I getting upset over?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because I know who my mom is. I know who I am. That's why, I mean, people blast me on social media all the time. They call me jerk, especially if I'm talking about their president. Oh my gosh, they just try to rip me a new one. And I usually hit back with a laugh, have a great day.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, bro, you don't know me. So I'm not identified by your opinion
But
of
that,
me.
again, that's the issue. People go through, they will scroll your social media, they'll get this idea of who Stone is,
Right.
and then they think they know you as a person. That's what happens. And then they start to interact with you with this construct of an individual that they've created from 100 pictures and 20 posts.
Yep.
And you're more complex than that, you know?
Absolutely.
And that's the issue, is that people subconsciously they do it on a surface level. Going back to not knowing who you are, if you jump out there in the wild, wild west that is the social media realm without an anchor of who you are, that whole thing will eat you up, man.
Absolutely.
Twitter will have you feeling completely incompatible with anybody. It'll have you feeling down on yourself, like
feeling
you
lower
worthless.
than low.
You get on Instagram, dude. Listen. We talked about me loving Lamborghinis. Not saying somebody doesn't deserve it. However, there's an individual that I saw.
Haterism begins.
Oh, this is definitely me hating, because I know this person. I know this person ain't had no business with the keys, no Lamborghini, and there they are sitting in my favorite car, the new one, the Evo,
Front.
that just came out.
Front.
And I'm like, I know how much it is to rent for a day. I don't know where you got the bread to do that for 2 days, but somehow they have it.
Ain't no future in your front.
Do it. Who came out to that? Was it said that came out to that?
Breed.
Oh,
MC Breed.
That was Breed. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like I hate to say I'm hating that situation, dude. Big up to you. Do your thing. I still don't know where you got the bread from to do that, but he has people now thinking,
Yeah, that he's got a
Lambo,
Sure.
and I know he owe people money, and I'm talking less money than the $2,500 a day it is to rent a Lamborghini. So don't allow your social media to get out there and paint the picture of who you are. If you're going to be on it, because,
All right, sorry about that, y'all. Got
technical
kicked out.
difficulties.
They ain't like this.
We talked too goddamn much.
All right, so what were you saying?
I was done with the thought. I was pretty much saying, don't allow your social media to paint the picture of who you are.
Right.
Because if it does, it can go both ways. You can create this persona, and you may be able to use that persona to build something bigger. Or you can run into a situation where somebody gonna call you on your stuff, and you're not gonna be able to produce to whatever you're showing them, and now you're a failure.
I mean, at the end of the day, social media, it should be a wealth of information and a wealth of entertainment. If you can just see social media as that, it can be amazing. You know, it can be. I follow different accounts like Unusual Facts, and like I learn a ton of stuff. And because I am aware of disinformation, even with those, sometimes I'll Google it myself and find out. But a lot of times they turn out to be true, and I learn some of the coolest things.
Kelly Ray, what's up, girl? I'm sorry, that's a friend of mine from high school.
Oh wow, high school in the building. Nice. So at the end of the day, that's what it is, you guys. Just keep social media in its place in your life. It obviously can be a very useful and a very productive tool for you, but it can also, it's kind of like water. You know, we need water to live, but too much of it or stay under it too long, and you're dead.
Y'all don't need social media. Get off that crap.
Well, no, and that's the truth, though. Many of you don't need social media, and at the end of the day, no one needs it.
Right.
At the end of the day, but
Going back to what I said earlier, if at the top of the podcast, if you're gonna be on it for the right reason.
right, for the right reasons.
Don't get on it because you need that adrenaline rush, that dopamine release because you saw 40 likes to the picture of your cute baby or your new shoes, or you got to go on a vacation and your friends didn't, so you
Right.
want to stun on it. Like, don't be on it for that. If you're truly sharing yourself with the world, be altruistic like that. Show people the experience that they aren't getting to have, but don't do it for the reasons of just.
And I honestly want to ask some of you, because there are millions upon millions of people that for some reason to them, if this is just entertainment for them, they enjoy it. And I'm not going to judge. If it's for you, it's for you. It's not for me. But there are plenty of people that are just on there to find out what's going on in other people's lives, especially as celebrities. But even just your common neighbor, so you're just trying to figure out what's going on in their life. Just take a question and ask yourself why. Why am I trying to see what's going on in their life? And see if you're happy with that answer. You know what I mean? If you're just trying to see what's going on with them, and maybe even with the thing of, is it something that I can help them with, or something I can feel good for them and cheer along with them with? Right. Obviously, fine. I just want to keep up what's going on in them. Fine. But if you're doing it literally just to somehow then compare, what's going on, or to judge what's going on, those are the wrong reasons to do that. What?
Shout out to Ray on the style. So if I get off social media, I can't watch this podcast. Facts. No,
this is true.
Be there for us. Stone makes a great point, though.
Yeah, so look, at the end, like I promised in the beginning, I want to give some shout outs. I don't have a lot of them because unfortunately, I do know there's one person I'm forgetting. And if you're on here, let me know and I will shout you out. But I do want to give a big shout out, first of all, to my homegirl, Angie Irons, who has been Angie, one of my favorite people in the world for years. She's one of those friends where, we be texting back and forth. And
this is one of those situations I was talking about. I feel like I know Angie because of how much Stone talks about her.
Yeah, it's just one of them things where we'll text, and sometimes you can have a little quip or a little joke, but then you kind of have to add another line in there that somewhat maybe explains it, whatever. Yeah. I don't have to do that with Angie. I'll just say it, and she already knows where I'm going with it, you know what I mean? And then she'll come back with the perfect response that play. She's just one of them.
So she's not mad at me at all for calling you out for the TMI joke.
She's not at all, no, because Angie definitely keeps it real with me, definitely. But she has been sharing this podcast, with her friends on her social media and stuff like that. So Angie, thank you so much. So you guys make sure you follow her at Angie. That's ANNEG. And I don't recall if it's Angie Music right there. ANNG Music. Make sure you follow her. I want to shout out Bless Montana. Now Bless is an up and coming rapper. What I really like about Bless is he's had a rough beginning in his life, and I was there at that moment, or at least I knew him at that moment when he just was like, you know what, I'm enough of this. Let me turn things around. You know what I mean? And he has 3 beautiful kids and stuff. And I'm blessed. I don't know if you're watching me right now, bro, but I am going to just say it publicly that I'm very proud of you, young buck, on everything that you're doing. And look, even if we never work together in music, that's fine. Just know that I'm proud of the man that you're becoming. And I just want to encourage you, man, to keep it up. And I appreciate it because Bless shares this with his friends all the time. So, and then my homegirl, M, at the studio, M has been telling her friends. They were just in the car the other day. She's like, yo, you need to listen to my boss's podcast. And she put it on, she hijacked somebody. She kidnapped him. M got gangster with it.
Took the aux cord and everything.
Yeah, man. So, M, thank you so much for your support and all the hard work that you do at the studio. She goes above and beyond all the time. So, and I know there's somebody else, they told me, they say, look, man, I just shared this with so-and-so and so-and-so, and I think I'm forgetting them. So blame it on my head, not my heart. But let me know if I am.
The problem with this is that this video out there forever, and they're going to always be able to go back and
But you know what? It's all good because I'm owning it and I'm acknowledging it. So it's fine.
I ain't nobody out. I love y'all. If I was going to shout somebody out, I've already done it. I appreciate you because I sent you a message with the links and all that stuff earlier.
Yeah, but it's you. I got to do it.
Names because I'm going to forget somebody, so I ain't.
You know what? Hey, and if you can't understand that, then hey, I don't know.
This is my thing. I'm never going to make 2 or 3 people happy. I'm going to piss everybody off.
You know what? That's life. That's life.
Yeah.
That's life.
I do have one thing I want to say. Y'all thought we were playing about that bread. Y'all didn't want this money.
Yeah, so the way it works, and
I was giving away money.
Yeah, Valavia, she was actually hitting me the other day. So I followed and everything, and so what the prerequisite was is that once we reach 1,000 subscribers to the podcast, and it could be 250 on Apple Podcasts, it could be, but it has to be a sum total of 1,000 subscribers. Right. Then we were going to do a random drawing, and you just had to show us a pic that you were following us on all 3 social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and we were going to do a random drawing and give away $250. So some of y'all went hard. Angie, she went super hard. Valavia, you told me that you did it. I appreciate you. I think Bless did it. So we appreciate you. We do. But unfortunately, we haven't reached 1,000 followers yet. And I'm not tripping because we're going to have a few million in a brief period of time. But, See, that's that too now. Look what you done did. Now we got to hold that. That's in social media. No, it's not. Let me tell you something about that.
You're calling this as this. That's what you're doing.
Well, so I know how you don't really believe in that stuff. But here's my thing with this. Is I set my expectations. Because at the end of the day, if you want the room to be 72, you have to set the thermostat to 72. Here's the thing. Now, except for Johnny, because Johnny knows a little bit about everything, but for the rest of us, we don't really know the inner workings of HVAC. So I don't necessarily know what clicks and what electric thing travels to where to what to do what, and the mercury rise and the heat, whatever. So I don't know how it gets to 72. All I know is that when I set the thermostat to 72, it gets there. So we are going to have several million subscribers and listeners to this podcast. How it's going to happen, I don't know. We have one job, and that is to offer information to people that will help their lives, change their lives, hopefully keep them laughing and in stitches and entertained.
And I'm going to slide somebody a couple bands and get some of them fake followers so we can get them.
Oh, my gosh.
He said he didn't know how it was going to happen.
That's all we got to do. So we just have to do our job. I just told a young student the other day, man, greatness don't find people. People find greatness. So we just have one job, and that's to be great.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling we're going to do that.
I agree, brother.
All right. So, y'all, we appreciate it. This is our first live one. We're excited about it. Yeah, we're going to do it again. We're probably going to shoot for maybe at least once a month.
Yeah.
Something like that. So, again, the biggest thing.
Thank y'all for helping us work the kinks out, too, because we got to see kind of
we did.
interaction.
Thanks for your patience.
So we'll work on some of that stuff in the next.
Thanks for your patience and all that. So, again, I'm gonna just keep on beating it in. The biggest thing you guys can do for us is just share, tell, spread the word. That is the biggest way you can show your appreciation for us. Not that we need it, but we do appreciate it. All right. So we are going to be out. Just look out for the next podcast, obviously next Monday. You can follow me, obviously, as many of you are watching right now, on Stone 007, Stone letter 07 on Instagram. And it's Stone 007 on Twitter. And then Johnny.
Yeah, y'all can find me. I mean, like I said, I'm not out there much, but I'm out there. It's just Johnny Vaughn on everything. JUST. Oh, wait, how you spell that?
See, here we go.
JUSTJONYVAN. Again.
Not that it's not confusing as it is just Joni Van.
We're not going to get into the whole linguistics of how it's pronounced incorrectly.
And then, of course, tell everyone to follow us at Life On Podcast. Yo, we love y'all. We are out.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.